You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Today is our Friday review, episode number 483, and we're going to take you through my June challenge. Each and every month, I'm going to try to issue a challenge for our community and see if we can live up to it. We can see if we can add it to our already healthy lifestyle or growing healthy lifestyle. I want to bring you each and every week going forward now, either my top supplement pick, something that I think that you should look into potentially, if it makes a good match or fit for you, or a book review. I always want to alternate between the two of those, make sure I bring you a lot of my favorites, especially I'm still going through so many books each and every week, and I'm getting obviously a lot of great recommendations from our community as well. And then I want to end today's show with finding your own local farmers markets near you, because I think that's so important. We're going to chat about that. And then also figuring out what's in season. I really love these graphs, these websites and apps that make it so simple now to figure out what's the absolute healthiest, what's the most nutrient rich for your body. So we're going to get into all of those things today. And to get started, let's talk about our June challenge. So this is something that I myself like to do once or twice a year, and it's called a push-up challenge. Now, it's very simple. It's very straightforward. Anyone can do this, no matter what your exercise history, how long you've been exercising, how strong you are, any of those things, it doesn't matter. The best part is this, is that all I need you to do right now is one set of push-ups. That's it. So when you get home tonight or whenever you're listening to this podcast, what I want you to do today is just drop down. You can do them from the knees for sure, but if you can do regular push-up, which means like hips up and a high plank, and do your push-ups, don't take it to failure. Just say, how many can I do? Is it 5? Is it 10? Is it 15? Is it 20? Is it 30? How many push-ups can you do in a row? That's all I want you to figure out, all right? And so what I want you to do, if you're not already doing push-ups, I want you to do one set of push-ups, just like I do, every single morning before you leave the house. All right, you can be before your shower, it can be after your shower. I typically do them after. My body's a little bit more warmed up and I'm not going to start sweating. You know, I live in New England. It's not that hot. And that's what I do. But for this June challenge, what I'm going to do is this. So the first week, just one set of push-ups, as many as you can do, not to drop down literally face first, but as many as you can do. Every single day you're doing a set of push-ups, okay? It's kind of like my kettlebell challenge a few months back. Now, week 2, I want you to do 2 sets. As many as you can do. That's it. That's all you're going to do. So let's say that you're up to 10 push-ups each set after week 1. Okay, great. Well, now for week 2, I want you to do 1 set or 2 sets in the morning, but I want you to do 2 sets every single day. That's all I want you to do. Now, so let's say someone's been getting good at them and they're doing 15 push-ups for 2 sets week 2. Okay, great. Week 3, I don't really want you to go up in reps, but what I'd like you to do is do 3 sets week 3. That's it. So then that's where your max is going to be. So now listen just closely as I add these little details. Okay, so you can do 2 sets in the morning, but that's as many as I want you to do. Don't want this to turn this into a workout. And then you'll do 1 set either with your workout that day, that's the additional set during week 3, or when you get home at night. And that's typically what I do. So my workout days, let's say I'm doing 3 days a week of strength training and like formal exercise. Okay. Well, on those days, I can certainly add in 1 more set at the end of my workout if I choose to. And I'll often do that. But I like to be a creature of habit. I really like routine. I find it's like routine creates anchors. So like whenever I get home at night, I change out of my wellness gear and garb, then I say, okay, it's time to relax. I'm going to do a set of push-ups. My girls are probably hanging all over my back. They're sitting on top of me. My dog's licking my ear, all of those different types of things. But I'm going to get my 3rd set of push-ups in. All right, so let's say you're going 15 and 15 in the morning and you're doing your best. And then at night, you'll try for 1 more set of 15. And on week 4, what you're going to try to do is take up your push-ups by 2 to 3 reps each set. Okay, that's your goal. You just do the best you can. So by week 4, you're doing 3 sets per day. That's your maximum. Now, of course, you're still doing your other workouts. Like you're doing your inverted rows and your lat pull downs. You're doing other things to balance all the nice, strong chest muscles and shoulders and triceps and your ab muscles. Remember, your push-ups work pretty much your entire body. I mean, they honestly do, but they are more anterior chain based, which means that's the front of your body. So during your weight workouts, you will focus on rows and you focus on lat pull downs and you focus on reverse flies and you focus on all sorts of good things that work the back muscles as well. So how I do it, I'll just give you exactly how I do it. Just want to let you know it's the same exact way since I've already been doing push-ups every single morning. You probably maybe listen back on my previous shows for what I do each and every morning. But what I do is I do 2 sets of push-ups in the morning. That's all I'm going to do. So I'm just going to add one more to my first week right away. And then after that, let's just say I do 35 push-ups and 35 push-ups for each set. Then when I get home at night, I'm going to try for one more set of 30 push-ups to 35 because my goal is I gave myself a number and I want you to potentially do the same if you've already been a little bit more advanced because I know we have some advanced listeners out there. So what I'm going to shoot for is 100 push-ups every single day for the month of June, and I'm telling you, I'm going to hit that goal. I'm going to hit 3,000 push-ups for the month of June. I'll check back in on that. So hold me accountable for that. If you're in our Cabral support group, just go to cabralsupportgroup.com. That's our free Facebook group. You can definitely hold my feet to the fire and make sure I'm accountable for that, but that's my goal is I'm going to do 35 push-ups for 2 sets every morning, 30 push-ups when I get home at night, and that's going to be my 100 per day if my math is correct. And I'm going to do that every single day in addition to my regular workouts. Now, what does this do? Well, it really just gets you in that much better shape. I mean, remember, adding 100 kettlebell swings or adding, more swings, more push-ups, more of these full body-based exercises every single day, and you're still keeping it balanced the rest of your workouts. Again, if you have any shoulder pain, if you have any issues like that, you're not going to do this. I'm just issuing a fun challenge for all of us. But I'm telling you, every single time I've done this, I really have gotten in much better shape just from adding this extra volume to my workouts. So let me know if there's any questions on that. Of course, feel free to join our cabralsupportgroup.com. It's completely free to join. We have a big fun group of positive people, and that's all that we ask. You can have your questions, you can need your help, but just stay positive. That's all we require to join this free group and get your questions answered there. And of course, on the house call, we do that as well. All right, up next, I want to chat about a oldie but a goodie, we'll call it that way. It kind of went out of fashion, but now it's coming back into fashion, and that's coenzyme Q10, often shortened up and called CoQ10. And what CoQ10 does and why it's become more popular is that it basically helps you convert food to cellular energy. I think the reason why it's becoming more popular now is because even conventional medicine doctors who don't work a lot with nutritional supplements do recommend this for their patients on blood pressure medication as well as statins. And that's because these patients are getting cramping, myalgia, they're getting just weak muscles and just really their heart's getting weakened as well. So yes, you're not getting the cholesterol buildup, but your heart's getting weaker. So I don't even know how that's a good trade-off in terms of taking a statin. It just blows my mind why we still prescribe statins when for 99.99% of the population, as long as you're willing to change the nutrition, you're willing to change the exercise, you're willing to tweak a couple things, you can get that cholesterol down to very, very healthy levels. No doubt about it. But here's what else coenzyme Q10 helps with. And I think that once you read the lists, you'll be pretty impressed with what it can do and why you might want to add it in. And so this is directly from the Mayo Clinic. So this is not, one naturopath's bias or anything like that. Again, I try to keep this really unbiased. But right now, clinical studies, Mayo Clinic saying it helps with heart failure. Okay? Any type of cardiovascular-based issue, whether it's previous heart attack, cholesterol issues, anything cardiovascular-based, all right? Helps with high blood pressure. Helps with eye-based issues, macular degeneration, aging, wrinkles, rough skin, Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's, ALS, works with asthma, arrhythmias, breast cancer, cancer in general, cataracts, helps with chemotherapy side effects, although you may not want to be using it if you are taking chemotherapy because it can lessen the actual effectiveness of the chemotherapy. So that's a time when I would not take it. And also you do have to be careful when taking blood pressure medication because coenzyme Q10 actually helps to lower blood pressure levels naturally. So you'll just be monitoring your levels, of course. Okay, chest pain, again, cardiovascular, but arrhythmias, anything like that, chest pain, angina. Chronic fatigue. Okay, why? It's going to help with mitochondrial function. It's going to help with cellular energy. It's going to help oftentimes in terms of addiction, drug addiction. It's going to help with cystic fibrosis. It's going to help with recovery from exercise, and that's because coenzyme Q10, besides being a great utilizer or great proponent of cellular energy, it also helps as an antioxidant to prevent free radical damage or to remove free radicals from your body from that electron transfer as well. Okay, fibromyalgia, inflammation, hearing loss, like ringing in the ears, more heart disease. This list just goes on and on. HIV, AIDS, high triglycerides, immune-based issues, kidney issues, infertility, migraines. So muscle weakness and nerve pain and I could just keep going on and on and on and on. Weight loss, diabetes because of blood sugar regulation. But here's the reason. It helps naturally as an anti-inflammatory because it's an antioxidant as well. So that's going to cut down on inflammation caused by free radical damage. And it helps with mitochondrial issues and cellular energy. So when you look at decreasing inflammation and you look at increasing cellular energy, well, that's why this list is over 3 dozen, diseases, and I have my fingers in air quotes there because it helps with these things. Okay, here's the issue though, and that's why this is why really scientific research does matter. And I love the natural health field, but you can't just take a product from CVS, Rite Aid, even Whole Foods and say, oh, well, I'm taking coenzyme Q10 and it works great. That's just not true. So here's the issue. These studies use a minimum of 100 milligrams. So you really want, again, ideally 200 to 300 milligrams per day. I would start at 200 milligrams, and you can do that in divided doses. You can do one with breakfast and one with dinner. Really, really simple, and I like that. I like doing them about, the 12 hours apart, 7 and 7, 6 and 6, somewhere around there. And you're going to get the most benefit that way, and because it's a pricey product as well. If you can get coenzyme Q10 for $30 or less, you're really not getting a good product. Here's also the other reason. Ubiquinol, they found to be much more effective. And the reason is that everything needs to be converted into an active substrate or active component within the body. Just like, for example, folic acid has to eventually become methylfolate or 5-MTHF before your body can use it. You don't need to know what any of that means. But in a functional medicine, B vitamin, like our active B vitamin or our daily nutritional support or our daily activated multi, it has the activated B vitamins in there. That means your body can actually use it, can absorb it, and it's not just a waste of money, okay? Because if you're going to buy supplements, at least buy something that's effective. So ubiquinol is a great form. We're going to link up one version of that by Pure Prescriptions. That's a nice one. I'm also going to link up a liquid one from Pure Encapsulations just in the show notes. Again, just go to stephencabral.com/483, and you can always get my direct links to all sorts of different brands that I recommend. And then also, Thorne has another one. There's a little different. There's a coenzyme Q10, but it's bound to a phospholipid, so it's going to be better. It's going to be greatly absorbed, of course. And then also, it's crystal free, so it's in the dry powder form. They're a great company as well. And so why don't I link up all of those in today's show notes? I do like the ubiquinol product. I'm partial to that. I've just seen better blood work and better results from that. So big proponent, big fan. And again, just to see if it's the right product for you. There's so many great products to use. I'll just link this up and see if it might be the right one for you. Now, of course, coenzyme Q10 is an add-on. I always feel like I need to add this, but that means you're not going to use that product unless you're using a good functional medicine multivitamin or something like the daily nutritional support powder and probably a greens powder first. If you're not doing those two, I honestly say to people, you don't really have any business going on to these like special ones until you've done that, because you need to cover all of your bases first. So, you're going to eat healthily, right? So that's part of it. You're going to start exercising, and then you're going to use something like a good multi, which is going to have all your Bs and everything in there. And then you're also going to use, which is some coenzyme Q10, and then you're also going to use a green. So you get the best of whole food nutrition, you get the best of functional medicine, and then you say, okay, do I need it? And then after that, obviously test it out. That's always my philosophy. I'm always trying to save people money as well. It's a great product. Highly do think it's recommended for so many people, especially if you're on a statin or blood pressure medication or any of those things. Just think about that. I would add it onto those two other products that I just mentioned right there. Okay, now let's move on to how to find your local farmer's market. Okay, so my favorite website for helping people find their local farmers markets, which means you're going to be able to get local seasonal vegetables and fruit. And then if you are on a more paleo or you eat meat, a lot of times you're going to be able to get grass-fed beef there. You're going to be able to get pastured chicken. You're going to be able to get pastured eggs, sometimes even wild fish, believe it or not, depending on where you are. So these are absolutely fantastic. They're going to save you money because you're going direct to your farmer. And they also support local small businesses like these small farms, which we need to keep going. We cannot let Monsanto and all of these large, basically just massive agricultural companies that do not have our best interests at mind, we can't let them take over. I mean, that's honestly the bottom line. Support your local farmers. So important. So simple to do. Just go to localharvest.org. And that's localharvest.org. And of course, I will link that up into today's show notes. Absolutely so fantastic. At the top of the page, they make it very, very simple. You just type in your zip code. That's all you have to do. Type in the zip code of wherever you are. Maybe you're on vacation. Maybe you're spending a new place in the summer, wherever you might be. Just type that in. You'll find all the local farmers markets. So for example, I just typed in Boston, Mass. 02116, which is the zip here. And it pulled up 72 local listings just in and around Boston. Really, really great. So check it out. Highly recommend it. And even maybe go to some different farmers markets, except that, different from the ones that you're already going to right now. Okay, super simple, easy to do. Now let's talk about how do you find what's in season and why even eat in season, in the first place? Well, here's the reason why. What you want to do when you eat in season is you're looking for foods that are picked ripe. They're picked right off the vine, right out of the ground, whatever it might be. Why do you want them ripened on the vine? Or why do you want them local and especially from your farmer's market? Here's why. When food is locally grown, it doesn't have a larger carbon footprint, yes, of course, but it's also picked ripe. It can get right to you that same day or the next day. And that means it's going to have its maximum nutrient density. What does that mean? It's the largest amount of vitamins and minerals possible in that plant, fruit, whatever it might be, is going to be when it's in season. So literally, all you have to do is go to a website called sustainabletable.org. I'm not even going to bother spelling that for you. Just go to stephencabral.com/483. And with sustainabletable.org, they have something called a seasonal food guide. So it's sustainabletable.org/seasonal food guide. And then with that, all you need to do is put your state in there. And again, I know we have people listening overseas as well, but a simple Google search will help you find as well. You just put what produce is in season locally. That's literally all I typed in. And when I was doing my original research, and again, this is all in my upcoming book as well, it has all of these great things. And then it even tells you the month. So all you have to do is type in the month. Really fantastic. And if you even want to pick the produce to see when it's in season, it allows you to do that. Really simple website. You can only do one thing, honestly, if you go to the seasonal food guide, and that's that. So when I click on it and I type in June, it pulls up everything that's basically in season in early June or whatever it might be. So really, really great. Now, another one is your local government's site. Like ours for Massachusetts, ours is mass.gov. Now, for mass.gov, and this goes for every state, they literally have a PDF. So I'm going to link up the Massachusetts one because you're going to be able to find your own. It's beautiful. It's a one-page sheet, and it tells you like the months, because usually things are in season for, let's say, about 3 months to sometimes 4 months. Sometimes some are the whole year. And it will show you which vegetables are in season. So for example, even though I buy them frozen all year round, it's true that I do that. Maine wild blueberries. Wild blueberries are in peak season in July and August right to September. Now, from going to Maine for my entire life, I know that they're really in peak season in August. That's when wild blueberries. Now, if you look at cantaloupe is only in peak season in Massachusetts 1 month, and that is August only. But cranberries, it's in season from September through December. So it's a really great guide. I find this stuff really interesting because I'm getting more and more into gardening myself. And by gardening, I mean like I'm really a simple urban gardener. I have 4 boxes above ground planters, and that's where I'm starting. Now, it's been growing every single year, and I do plan to one day have a very sustainable garden. But of course, as we know in New England, that's not an easy thing to do. But I have lots of great produce, and just getting into, well, put it this way, just getting into thinking about your food, where it comes from and what's in season, I guarantee you're going to then have healthier food on the brain, and that's going to allow you then to make better food choices. And that's really what it's all about. So hopefully today's Friday review was helpful. I try to bring you each and every week all sorts of different new things that you may not be hearing anywhere else. Like last week, we were talking about crystal salt lamps and oil diffusers, and my favorite toothpaste, my new favorite one I've just been trying out, the black toothpaste that I talked about. Check that out in episode 476. And a really nice natural mouthwash that I continue to use that I think is excellent as well. So stay tuned each and every Friday for our Friday reviews. And of course, be back tomorrow when we answer all of our community's questions on the weekend Cabral House Calls. Take care, everyone, and enjoy your weekend. Did you know that the body really only becomes sick or imbalanced in only 2 ways? Over time, you become deficient in vital nutrients, and you also accumulate toxins internally and from the environment. As those nutrients diminish and you increase your total toxic load, your body then begins to show the first signs of dis-ease. It's actually quite predictable, and the good news is that if we know how you began to fill up that proverbial rain barrel, we also know how to empty it to begin the healing process. I was fortunate enough to learn this ancient healing process from my mentor after suffering from debilitating diseases for close to a decade. It was only when I began to implement these techniques did I finally overcome my illnesses and go on to live a life of energy and vitality that I now enjoy. I'd like to share with you now what I discovered after traveling all over the world and how to combine the best of ancient healing wisdom with state-of-the-art science. Allow me to teach you exactly how I've been able to help over 250,000 people to empty their rain barrel and begin to transform their body and lives into what they've always hoped they could be. To get your copy of the international bestseller, The Rain Barrel Effect, simply go to stephencabral.com/rainbarrel.